You've got the Coke Zero Taste of Victory program coming up this weekend, and I wanted to ask you a question from Scott Story because it deals with your sponsors. He'd like to know, how do you keep your sponsors happy?
Well, it is very challenging, but this weekend, all the fans have 13 opportunities. So the Coke Zero 400, if any of the 13 Coca-Cola drivers wins the race this weekend, all millions of fans will receive a free Coke Zero. All they have to do is go to CokeZero.com on July 13th. So there's a lot of pressure on me from the sponsors to perform this weekend, but I think that's across the board for all drivers. We're very lucky to have the companies involved in the sport that we do, and 3M being my primary sponsor on the car.
The next question comes from Helena, who wants to know, you think you've just been the victim of some bad luck lately?
I mean, I think so. I believe in the sport you make your luck, and unfortunately, I got caught speeding at Pocono. It cost us a great finish, and we got the air hose caught in the splitter at Michigan. All those things we can do a better job of, and we're working hard as a team to be the best we can be. We know we're a championship caliber organization. We know if we continue to work on it, we'll get that 16 car in the chase and hopefully on the podium.
Charlie from Edgewater writes in saying congratulations on re-signing with Roush, but he's curious as to what you think Jack's going to do when NASCAR actually has to enforce that 14 per-owner rule.
Well, I think that we're going to do the logic thing. One of our teams is going to move over to the Yates organization, which we have a shared alliance with as far as technology and things. So I think it's going to be a seamless thing when we have to reduce to 4 teams. I'll still be at the Roush Fenway, under the Roush Fenway banner, the 16-car will. So that was negotiated into the contract. So we don't know who's going to end up being over at the Yates organization, but they'll still be, part of the Ford family.
Sam is interested in knowing if NASCAR has discussed any plans to actually help support grassroots racing classes, maybe even dirt tracks.
They have. They've done NASCAR's ran a couple of commercials that promote grassroots racing because that's where all the racers come from, and that's where I came from. Everybody didn't, get to this level by just starting out. And we know that NASCAR also knows that grassroots racing is part of our heritage, and they do what they can to support that and, encourage people to go to their local Friday and Saturday night racetracks and see the great races, because that's where this sport started.
Here in Denver, we have the Furniture Row Racing Team that's based here in the city of Denver, and Melanie writes in wanting to know if you look at teams like that as maybe not being as competitive because they're not from or based in the South.
I don't think so. It does make it more difficult technology-wise because not saying you have to be based in the South, but you have to be based, you'll suffer a little bit not being based around where all the technology is. So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be here, but there's so many things to be had from learning from all the other organizations and what different manufacturers have to offer. They've done a fantastic job of being where they're at, and I'm very proud of what they've done in our sport.
Diane Gilly wants to know, and this is as it relates to the actual races themselves, how are the winnings, she asks, from each race paid out? Who gets the payouts? Is it the driver, the team owner? Is it divided between the teams?
That's a good question. Most of the winnings that you see in the paper, for one, include a lot of TV money or other monies that aren't divided between the team owner and the driver. So every driver contract's a little bit different, but what happens is that the team itself or the race team guys get a small percentage goes into a bonus program, and then usually the driver and owner have a split. I think a lot of the commonly split is around 30% of it goes to the driver, and sometimes, depending on the contract, up to 40 or 50. But that's a typical way that the thing is split.
Every time we get somebody from NASCAR on the program, we always get a number of questions, like the one we got from Jim, from Nuri, from John Hill, from Brian Olson, this one from Stacy Caldwell in Arvada. She wants to know, how can they actually bring NASCAR back to Colorado?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of passionate NASCAR fans across the United States, and Denver's certainly a market, or Colorado, that NASCAR wants to be in. And I would just say to the NASCAR fans, write in an email and talk about NASCAR and to NASCAR about coming there in different programs, and just make a push, make it known that there's millions of fans in that area, thousands of fans that want to see a racetrack there. And hopefully this weekend they'll all receive a free Coke Zero if one of the drivers wins.
Greg Biffle, thank you so much for answering our viewer questions on your show.
Thank you.